Disclaimer. All topics in this video are alleged and allegedly, and they are strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Y'all interviews gonna be on point because Jay know what he's doing.
Jay, everybody do watch you. When you been doing your post about me, great job. Yeah, great job. I love you.
Ooh, Latrice.
Wait a minute, you did your research, honey. I love it. If I need any information on myself, I need to come ask you, Jay Evans.
Jay Evans, you know exactly what to say. Yes.
It's the Shante. Oh, there it is. You better come through, Shante. Know what to do, baby.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to. A lot of people don't know how to turn the camera on, baby. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Shante, you look good. The hair flowing. The face is always a 10.
Thank you.
That's all the
I'm
time.
ready to go to the gym attire.
Okay.
I gotta get ready to,
Do it. I'm
Wanna
looking
get
at the
out.
background. I'm looking at the background. I'm looking and lurking. This is a 2-story house. This is a 2-story house.
Yes.
I heard you had money. Now you've been on my list for a while. I heard you had money, but 2 stories. Not saying nothing is wrong with a 1-story house, but if you got a 2-story house in Mississippi, that's a good 6 figures. So I mean, 6 figures. That's pricey. I'm just saying. I heard the money is money.
Or maybe I just got a man that takes care of me now.
I heard the rundown on you. You got your own. I'm looking at the wall to the side. Is that? I see this right here. Yeah, this is giving money. This is giving money. What's in the background? Like, what is this room?
Another background. Don't make me switch it up on you.
No, keep us here. Right. What's in this room behind us with the opening?
That's my office space that I have. So I have an in-home office space that I work out of when I'm in Mississippi or when I'm in Texas, and I actually sometimes go to the hospitals, or I have an office there. In Atlanta, I just pretty much go when we're just in the office. But yeah, I like to because I can do what I do from anywhere. So, and then, I think that if you're doing business and you want to have a business mentality, the first thing you have to do is make sure that when you wake up, go into like an office setting. So I set it up like it's, it's my little office.
You have a foyer?
It's behind us.
Yeah. If you have a foyer, your house is in a upstairs is 6 figures, baby. I just, I had the rundown on you, but I see the house. I just see this. So I know, because I like to decorate, and I can tell when a house is a house, baby. Like the house Luther Vandross was singing about. Yeah.
You are sending me.
I'm just saying, I don't have 2 stories. I just have a ranch style house.
Okay.
I wanted a foyer, but I'm just saying.
At this point, I might as well cook you dinner. When you coming over, because you just all in my business.
Baby, I like to cook and eat. I'm just saying these ceilings are high, so I see it's money. Oh, okay. So what they told me was right.
I should have did this in my bathroom.
You could have. I can dissect the bathroom too, baby. I know the basic bathroom from the real builder grade. Listen, y'all. So we gonna get into this with Shante. It was a lot going on. Shante has been on my list for a long time. You've been on this list, sis. Now, before we get into this, let me get this disclaimer. All topics in this video are alleged, and allegedly they are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Now let's chop it up, baby, like onions and green peppers for your Thanksgiving dressing. It's been a whole lot of baking, shaking, and baking, and ain't nothing kicking up in the kitchen but lies with an easy bake oven. So we're going to get into it today. I got this list of people that will be discussed. First on the list, y'all knew it was coming, is Mississippi Tammy Faye Baker, Tambra Cherie, the midday diva that's on the radio like the Donna Summer song. Sis, you on this list? I'm gonna ask questions. I know you watching under a fake account, or you gonna watch this playback later. Because you send me a lot of subliminals, and those messages do get to me. So we're gonna talk about that today. The Juice Man, not the Kool-Aid Man. We're going to call him the Juice Man, not the juice like O.J. Simpson, because we know O.J. was guilty. And Juice Man, I hear you just as guilty too, baby. Yeah. Demanda Greedy, the baby daddy, and maybe Tambra's boyfriend, question mark, maybe, I don't know. Taisha the decorator, we even gonna discuss her. Hey, Ty. Now, somebody told me, Taisha, you were a good person. I hear good things about you, sis, so maybe you just got a bad rap, okay? We're gonna talk about that too. And then the Bells, we're discussing them. Lateshia, the brunch queen. Marie Monroe, the queen of healthcare. Come through, Monroe. Latrice, the goddess in the millionaire that was featured in Forbes, and I did my research. Yes, she was in Forbes, Shante. She didn't buy it. She didn't buy the article. Now, I did my research. Carrie, the content creator, queen, and entrepreneur. We're going to talk about you, Care Bear. Selena, Lena, reality TV royalty, the Beyonce of Mississippi, and the queen of beauty. Selena, you were a beautiful bride. I'm going to give you that.
Wow.
Essie, S with the mess, baby, the ride or die. Bessie, that is gorgeous. Essie. And Glenn Pearson, y'all know his middle name is Dale, the little Boosie of Mississippi, former rapper turned future rapper and Shade Room celebrity lookalike feature person. So these are the people. Shante, you had a lot going on. You were the focal point of this season, and I see now why, because of this house and all this you got going on. I see you got a lot going on. Now, they told me you had money, but I'm going to have to, it's public record now. It's public record with the houses, but we're going to get into it. But it's not just about the stuff on the show. It's really too about, I wanted people to get to know you. I feel like when you are a friend of the show and you come on, a lot of times you're thrown into a look of just like, I'm the friend, I'm here to stir it up. And people have all kinds of opinions. So I do my research. People send me stuff. I still investigate. I knew about you. I knew about the businesses. I didn't know about this house like this. You got a house in Texas? You got a house in Texas?
Moving on.
Okay, I used to live in Dallas. I can get a pool there. I still got pool. But I want people to get to know you for your story. I got to, investigate. So I'm going to take it there. We're going to talk about some stuff, but we're going to start with this reunion because it was a lot.
Definitely. I think a lot is an understatement.
Okay, so this is what people want to know. This is what I want to know. Do you in Mississippi, Tammy Faye Baker, really know each other? Because I reposted a picture that you did, and you were like, hey, we don't know each other, but the picture showed 3 different photos of y'all. Now, Jackson, surrounded Jackson, if you were originally in Clinton, Madison, it's not that big. People know people here. And it got back to me indirectly, Miss Cooper, that you didn't like that I posted. But sis, if I post something, it's what I post, baby. And I heard, something to the effect of she's a celebrity. She takes pictures with everybody. Do you and Mississippi Tammy Faye Baker really know each other?
Well, let me say this before I say anything, because people love to send me paperwork, they just pass it out like it's candy. So I'm going to say that everything that I'm going to say today is allegedly and in my own opinion and of my own experiences, because this is what we're not going to do. We're not going to keep sending Shante paperwork just because.
Okay.
So, first question. Do we know each other?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. No, we're not homegirls. No, I'm not telling her my secrets. But yes, do we know each other? Yes. You know me and I know you. We know each other well enough to where we've had more than one conversation where I basically congratulated you for becoming a mother because I knew that's what you wanted. When you asked me questions about my daughter in this situation, I shared that with you. And then let's be clear. I know people actually, you watch the show and you think that that's how people come to know each other. But what we have to know is Tamara's been hosting Letitia's brunches before there was even a Belle Collective. So with me being Tisha's best friend, of course I'm there. So we're meeting, we're knowing each other. And like you said, it's Jackson. So, and as far as her being a celebrity, I've never heard that. I mean, I think celebrity, that's a bit much.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
that's what
like
I
a
was told.
hometown hero or, maybe some Jackson royalty, maybe. I don't know. But celebrity, too much.
Okay, Tam. Yeah, celebrity. Now I know one thing. If I get another indirect message, baby, don't indirect. Just come to me straight up, and you can say whatever you got to say.
Don't you
That's all
hate
you got to
those?
do. Yeah, just say it. Hell, I'm right here in Jackson. Hell, I'm probably 5 minutes away from you because I heard you back in your parents' house, and that's where you always been, and you ain't never
Listen.
left.
I hate indirect messages and I hate people who block you but talk about you. Like those
Yeah,
are two of my pet peeves. If you're gonna talk about me, tag me.
that's
Let's
all you
have a
got to do.
dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Like I don't indirects and the little subliminals and blocking you, but I'm talking about you. What's the point?
What is the point? Now listen, Mississippi Tammy Faye Baker sent you a cease and desist. When did this happen? Because my mouth hit the damn floor.
So I received the cease and desist from Smurfette. After filming was done, once the season had wrapped and they were getting ready for reunion, that's when I received the cease and desist. And when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, what is this? So then I sent it. Of course, I'm going to send it to my attorney. And when he looked at it, the first thing he said to me was, he said, when I saw it, he said, I thought that you had hit an 18 wheeler or something. I said, what are you talking about? He said, because the logo and everything, he said, it's got a big truck on it. I said, oh, I didn't even pay attention to that. I said, I was just reading the paperwork. He said, but anybody that knows an attorney or has $100 can get this document, pulled up. He said, actually, you can do the document yourself. He said, it's not a court authorized document. It's just basically a letter saying, hey, don't talk about me.
Now, see, that was my next question. Was it written by Tambra? Because people can write their own cease and desist. It is not a legal document. It's just a formal warning before a lawsuit or before a person tries to pursue it. So, did it give ambulance chaser?
It did to me because it wasn't. She didn't draft it. She had someone else to draft it, but it wasn't notarized by the courts. It hadn't been gone through the courts. There's nothing on file, so it's basically like I said. My attorney told me it's just a letter of her saying, "Hey, you don't talk about me no more." And he said, but literally in the letter, it tells you what to do. He said because if you're going to continue to talk about her because y'all are on a show together and people are going to ask you questions because that's the process. He said just make sure that you say allegedly and in my own opinion and in my own experiences. And he said that covers you. He said, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have bloggers, so Jay, you wouldn't exist. And he said people wouldn't be able to say anything on the internet. So
Right. Try again, Tambra. Like Lauren Hill say, how you gonna win when you're not right with the NC? Now she did say at the reunion is the first step before a lawsuit. And this is what I want to know. What happened between the two of y'all? Because to me, if we're shooting a show, right, we're going to have to discuss each other. You're going to be asked about each other. That's part of the show. So what happened between y'all? Because she said the comment about you put her child into it. What is it?
okay. So if we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna just fluff over it. We're not gonna talk about just things that people saw. We're gonna talk about what you didn't see, what you should see, and what you did see. So we're gonna be clear and we're gonna be transparent because that's what I believe in being. So basically, the situation with us, what you have to understand is, this is not a thing where I just started coming around. Like I have always been around. I have always, because it's a show that my friend created. I've always been privy to watching the show, because you want to watch your friend's success. And then these are Mississippi women. And at the time, I was in Texas when it first started coming out. But it was just like, okay, let me just tune in and see what's going on. And I thought Tamra was an actual good addition, because with her being a good addition, because she already had a relationship with Tisha. So I said it kind of makes sense, that she would be one of the ladies that would come on and this platform with Tisha. So, but as I'm watching, like, especially toward these last seasons, because the first two seasons, let's be clear, she was Tisha Shallow, But when we get on further, it's more like, okay, I see you shifting. And every time you get in the scene, you have all these comments about people's marriages, people's situations. Like, you have all this stuff to talk about, all this advice that nobody asked for. And so my whole thing was, when some information was brought to me, and it wasn't brought to me in a malice way, it was just somebody talking, it's just talk. And when I decided to tell my friend, because I'm like, she's so wrapped up in your situation and talking about what you got going on, why don't she just talk about her own self? I said, because her story within itself is something for her to share with people. So why are you just playing judge and jury to everybody else? So that's how that came about. So because my friend is the way that she is, well, I'll say we are the way that we are. We believe in, like, hey, if the information came from you, put it out there. Or if the information, don't tell me nothing that somebody said if you can't tell me who the somebody was. That's literally how I operate. So when she said, well, she said, well, we just had a whole sit down, with the Bells and asking them, do they still want to be here? Like, what do they bring to the table and all of that stuff. And then we decided that we was going to be open and honest with each other and, just kind of, I guess, rebirth the collective again. And I said, okay. She said, well, do you mind meeting up with us and just telling Tamra? And I'm like, okay. Because when you think about it, when somebody comes to you and they say, so-and-so said this, your first question is what? Who said it?
Right.
So I don't feel like we didn't ambush Tamra or anything like that. From Tisha's mindset, it was just more of, I'm just going to put it out there the way you don't have to question where it came from, because she going to tell you how she got it, and we just going to go from there. So we, of course, we meet up. They're already there, and then I come. And if you pay attention to the show, you can go back and watch it. When I come in, I say, hey, Tam Tam. So, number one, does that seem like somebody that doesn't know a person?
Right. That's a nickname.
People who know me call me Tay. Like, I'm literally, the people who actually know me, they call me Tay. I rarely get called Shante. If it's my family, they say Tay Tay. So I'll just say that. And so then, we sit down and we start having the conversation. And I tell her, because y'all don't see everything, right? Because what you don't understand is we may be filming for like 2 or 3 hours and y'all get 3 to 5 minutes.
Right.
Y'all don't get, they're going to take the stuff that's going to make you all react. And who could be mad at that? That's just like a preview to a movie. They're going to show you all the good stuff, because we've gone to movies before based off the preview and been disappointed.
Right.
So they're going to do things that grab you in. So I'm not mad at that. So we sit down, and my first thing to her, my opening statement is, Tamra, it was disheartening to me to sit back and watch you laugh in a phone with Latrice at this shop about Tisha and Glenn's situation and Glenn supposedly being in this girl's DM. I said, I didn't understand it. And I said, especially with you having the longest standing relationship, like, you didn't even tell her. And the fact you can't even, because if you're somebody's friend and you see that, it's a joke to you.
Right. You
like
shouldn't.
you laughing at that. And so I was just like, I was shocked. I was so shocked to the point to where I was like, I just cannot believe it. And then you have when Glenn was doing the recommitment ceremony, you have her, sitting around saying, "Oh, he does something every year. It's always some big grand gesture." Like, why? Why every time, you get in the scene and you make everybody else's stuff your storyline? So that was my conversation with her. And I was just basically like, let's make it make sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that? And she was like, well, I didn't tell her because, she's not going to do anything. And I hate when people say stuff like that because information is information.
Right.
If you give somebody information, what they choose to do with it is up to them.
Right.
It's not up to you because at the end of the day, we're not in those people's situations that we're sharing the information with. And even if you didn't want to like bring it back to her, I still want to know why was it funny, right? And
Right.
so then I had already been told by two people that when she gets ready to lie, she don't laugh. If they play the scene the way it's supposed to be, if they just run it
Mhm.
through, you see when I show her the phone and who the guy is that she's supposed to be messing with on and off, she doubles over in laughter. And I turn and look at Tisha like, but you don't see all that.
Because it wasn't funny.
You're not even privy to that conversation of where, that was said. So it's just kind of like, dang, I'm sitting there like, and let's be 100% clear. On no day do I care about what she got going on.
Right.
On no day. My only thing is right is right. If you're going to talk about somebody's situation, talk about your own too. If you want to give unsolicited advice, be able to take some. That was my whole thing. And when she said, no, after she got done laughing, no, he is a client. He is a client. And I said, oh, okay. And I was like, just because he's a client don't mean he can't be your man.
But
And
what is he a
let's unpack
client
that.
of?
And let's unpack that. Because what I mean by that is if I'm on the radio, if I'm on TV, if I'm doing whatever, and my man has a product or something that he's doing or a store or whatever, and I got the platform to support it, I'm going to do that. So it's kind of like, okay, so with you saying he's a client, that doesn't mean that he can't be your boyfriend. And like you immediately jumped to, oh, he's a client. And I just said, okay. And then she was like, well, whoever told you that information, you need to check, they need to check their facts because that's not true or whatever. And I was like, okay, because my thing is the way it came to me, I don't question that. Because number one, it didn't come out of malice. It didn't come from anybody being messy. It didn't come from, oh, let's make up something on her. No, it didn't come from anything like that. So I was just like, I don't care whether it's true or not, because I don't care what's going on in your pocketbook that you carry on your shoulder or your pocketbook between your legs. I don't care. But my thing is just stop talking about other people's business because you got bones too. And if you don't want to talk about your bones, don't talk about their bones. And
This
I'll
is the
say this.
thing
Let
with
me say this
Tampa,
too.
though.
But let
Go
me
ahead.
say this too before you say that, because I want you to get the whole scene the way it was. So after that, we talk about some other stuff, or whatever. And then we get ready to leave. We literally left that scene hugging and laughing.
Okay.
Because Tisha had to stay behind because she had to do something else. So Tamara left and then I left. We literally left like right behind each other. Like I'm thinking, you know what? No harm, no foul. You know how stuff go on reality TV. You put some stuff out there. People, however they perceive it. You said it's not true. I'm not the judge and jury. I don't care whether it's true or not. My whole thing is just, you need to know you have stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the thing. As far as the client thing, you have to own a business to say this is a client. I don't think Tambra owns the radio station. Another thing people have a problem with, and I noticed this, right? If
Mm-hmm.
she's on the show and she's sensitive about her daughter, I feel like on the show, children are off limits,
Right.
parents are off limits. You can read me and cut me down to the white meat, but don't say nothing
Awesome.
about my family, you know.
Right.
But for Tamara to be so sensitive about her daughter is really young, right?
Mhm.
When your daughter gets older, Tamara, Belle Collective is not going to be a thing. Letitia's son is older. Her son is in school.
Internet savvy.
Yes, so I would think when you're laughing about a person's marriage, you got to think about her son that's a older son, bigger than your child.
Then it's basically grown up on the show. We've seen Josh from a little boy to he's, preteen now. So, of course, and he's, him and my son are friends. So they're internet savvy. They see
Right.
stuff on the internet. So same thing with my son. He's 12. You're putting things out. And in that meeting, she said to us, "Oh, well, it was told to me that Shante, you in a relationship with Tisha and Glenn, so you the third." I'm like, what?
So
What
why would she
What are
say
you
that to
talking
you?
about? That's what you said. But here's the difference between me and her. And let's be clear. I got backlash for that. I got comments. I had people comment in my inbox. "Oh, is this something that you do? Oh, how much do you charge for this? How long you been messing with Glenn? That's why you standing 10 toes down for Tisha, because both of y'all with Glenn." Like, and you have to think about it when I'm in meetings with partners. 'Cause my company is the main one is a partnership, and people see stuff like this, they walk away thinking like, "What is she doing after 5?"
Right.
So, but the difference between me and her, me and Tisha laughed at that because that was mess. That was BS. We knew that wasn't true. And you never heard it again. Because what? You don't give a room a life. You don't
Right.
care about something that is not true. So we didn't, you never heard that again. Never. Tisha could have took a whole stance of, "Oh, you attacking my marriage. You saying I'm out here soliciting people for threesomes." You didn't hear that.
To me, that's not something. If we on a reality show, like we can read each other, but as far as saying something like that about a threesome, I'm not throwing nobody's marriage under the bus. Now, Tamara, maybe you don't understand because you've never been married, and that's a thing. We definitely would not go there. So, did you see her anymore after the cease and desist was sent?
Well, I want to, not to the reunion, I'll answer that. But then I want to go back and give, more context to what we're doing. So basically, after we do the scene at the spot where we were at during the lunch, Tisha has a focus group, right? Because if you follow the show, the focus group comes next. And of course, I'm going to be at the focus group. And she brings it up again. And when she brought it up, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. So then it dawns on me, "Oh, okay, this is a story for you."
Right.
Okay, I got it. I'm clocking it. Because if you left hugging me and laughing and like, "Oh, that's not true," and I'm like, "Girl, I don't care whether it's true or not. What it got to do with the price of rice in China? I don't care." And but when you see me, you bring it up again, and I'm like, "Okay, so this is a moment for you." Got it. I'm with you. So that's when she flipped the narrative. Because she's a journalist. So that's when she flipped the narrative and she started saying, "Oh, she out here saying I'm sleeping with clients." When did that come out my mouth? I've never said you was out here selling ass for ads. Never
Mm.
said those words never came out of my mouth. Man, correct me if I'm wrong. He could be your boyfriend and a client. You selling ass for ads. To me, those are two different things. I don't I
Mm.
don't see how they commingle. I never said that. You said that. And because I am the person that I am, after that focus group, we're walking out. I said, "Tamara, I don't know how you took that like that, but I didn't mean that like that." I said, "So as a woman, because I don't believe in tearing other women down, I apologize to you. Please don't feel like I think that." And when she kept going with it, that's what pissed me off. Because every scene after that, I get phone calls. Oh, Tamara got this, and that to say about you. Tamara saying this, and that about you. Tamara saying this, Tamara saying that. I'm like, what? She making it seem like this. She trying to set up this scene for this. And I'm like, okay, she's saying you doing this. Then all of a sudden the whole smear campaign against Shante came into fruition. Because what do? When you trying to discredit somebody? You attack their character.
Yeah,
You
because
make
she
them seem like,
became
yeah.
very active on social media. Tamara has not been this active. When she would post stuff, it would always be "I'm late" or "It's late," and this stuff from 3,000 years ago. So now all of a sudden it's a lot of stuff. Shantae hurt me. Shantae this. Shantae this. Now I want to know because she said this in the scene. You know, I had the rundown about when y'all met up at that scene. I asked you about it when you were on your live that you were put at the head of the table.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I get the rundown, baby. Thank you to my sources. I will never reveal you. And
I
Tamara
need those
walked.
sources.
Tamara walked out that scene with her big head and her big fake fur and said, "Do not make me whoop her on camera." So if she's filing a cease and desist against you, but she's threatening to whoop you on national TV, how did you feel seeing that?
Jay, when I tell you how God works, he is immaculate. When I tell you how God works. So, of course, we're filming while they're airing. It's kind of back and forth. So, of course, when she's outside and she's leaving, I don't know what she's saying. I'm still on the inside. And we actually were at it. So Marie had an open, at Marie's grand opening. I know y'all don't see me there, but I'm there. So I'm at Marie's grand opening. And that is I see her, but I haven't seen that scene yet. So I think it was like that next week. I saw the scene and I said, "She a what?" And it comes back to where it makes sense because when Etsy invited me to the event, I wasn't even gonna go because I had literally came from Texas and that time I had drove. So I made it home at like 2 a.m. So I'm on the phone and teacher was like, "Are you coming?" I was like, "Girl, I don't know." And I was like, "You know what? You gotta show up for who show up for you." And I love Marie and Etsy down. Me and Etsy went to the same school. And so it's just like, so I said, let me just go. So I go, and when I get there, production is like, "Oh, are y'all just happy to see me?" What are you doing? So, okay. And then, well, we're gonna mic you. I'm like, okay, but y'all do understand I'm just really here for, to support Issa and Marie. And so the next week when I see the scene, I said, that's why. And and then I was told, yeah, because she had so much to say about you in these scenes, and then like I guess like the insight calls and stuff, and we just really felt like that she was gonna say something to you. I was like, you ain't felt like that, but I was like, okay. So then she was like, um, the whole while we're there, because like I said, it's a lot of stuff y'all don't see. Marie gives us like a whole tour. Beautiful setup, I will say. Office is immaculate. It's nice. Yes, beautiful. So we're going through and we're seeing the rooms and we're seeing the patients and everything. And so it's just like, okay. But the whole while we're going through, it's a lot of shade for Carrie. So in my mind, because sometimes, the only child syndrome comes up and it almost came out, but God said no. Because I was like, I wanted to say, you got a whole lot of smoke for somebody that ain't even here.
Mm.
Because Carrie was on the Gulf Coast. She didn't come to
Right.
the grand opening. So I'm like, you got a whole lot of smoke for somebody that's not even in the room. And I was like, I almost said it. I almost said it. But some said, don't do it. So I didn't say it. We didn't say anything to each other. But I do feel, like I said, God is immaculate. Because had I seen that scene where she said she would whoop me, and I
Mm-hmm.
showed up to Marie's event, I'm waiting to get whooped.
That's what she said, and she walked to the first Lexus ever made. I think it was the test model Lexus. She
That
said
funeral
that.
home, that funeral home director Lexus. I said,
Yeah.
look, I seen that scene. I said, I'm waiting to get whooped. And it made so much sense. I said, that is why when production saw me, because they felt like if she left the scene saying that, if she said all these other things that she was going to say, then she was literally going to have, some smoke for me.
Mm-hmm.
Crickets. Oh, but here's some more tea for you. So when we get done, I get all these, messages and, things there where it's, they done called and said, why is the camera in Shantae's face? Why is she getting camera time? Why is she here? What is she doing? Why are y'all filming her? She is not a Belle.
Mm-hmm.
Poo-poo. Is you cool? Because I want to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
If you're solid in your role, whether that's your job, your stance, your marriage, your relationship, whatever you got going on, if you're solid in that, you don't care about anything else.
Right.
So I would not care if I'm a Belle on the show. If I wouldn't even care if Beyonce walked up. I need to get an autograph. But I'm not gonna be like, why is Beyonce here? She's not a Belle.
Right.
She don't need to be in the scene. She's still in the show. I'm not gonna do that. For you to be concerned about little old Shante, to where you got to make all these phone calls. There is no way in this world I would be upset about somebody else being around. And the relationship. Me, Essa, and Tisha went to school together. I know Marie. And we can back it up. When Marie and Essie had one of their first galas for the
Mm-hmm.
lupus, and it was during the time, and I hope Essie don't get mad at me. Essie, I love you. Essie's mom was in the hospital. We didn't even think she was going to come to the gala. And I don't even know if Marie remembers this, but I know Essie does because she don't forget anything. A company that I was affiliated with,
Mm-hmm.
we made the biggest donation to the Lupus Gala and we received an award. So there's no situation where you can make me feel like I shouldn't be in certain rooms.
Right.
I shouldn't make you feel like, because let's be, you a Belle.
Right.
Why you care about me? Why are you doing that? Why I gotta hear this? Then, like I said, but all season long, ever since they put a camera in my face and I agreed to do more talking because I've been showing up, but I just wasn't talking. So I agreed to do more talking. All of a sudden, everybody got an issue with little old Shante.
Yeah, because to me, and I've always said this, if I got a problem with a person, right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it to you. And then another thing, I'm not going to run off. Now, she ran off from you. She ran off from Taisha, the decorator. You are OG. I've never seen Marie run off from no damn body. I've never seen Tisha run off from no damn body. So why are you running? And you are OG and you on the show. Or
Mm-hmm.
are you running to stir the pot?
Yeah, you're running to start the pot to figure out how you can be the victim in the situation and how you can create drama. Because one thing I don't want anybody to walk away from this live and feeling like they're I'm bashing the Bells, because I'm not. I love them down. I still have
Right.
love for Timber. It's not that deep for me. But Selena never said anything about me film. Carrie never said anything about me film. Marie never said anything about me filming. Latrice didn't say anything about me filming until, Tamara needed a sidekick. And let's be clear, if Letitia and Latrice were in a good space during that time,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think we would be here. So you have to factor in that too, because like I told Tisha, I said a lot of these strays that I'm catching, I said they're not even because of me, it's because of you, because of how they feel about you. And I'm not mad at it. But if we're going to be clear, You know, let's be clear.
Right.
What else you got, Jay? Because you got so much.
Yeah, because the streets give me a lot. Now, I'm gonna say this about the cease and desist thing. Like Housewives of Atlanta, right?
Hmm.
They do send each other cease and desist all the time. It doesn't go anywhere because they're filming a show. Again, y'all got to discuss each other. Y'all got to talk about each other. Um, but it always falls flat.
Hmm. I think
I
they do
heard
that.
this.
Oh, wait a minute. I think they do that for like a storyline to say, oh,
Yeah,
so and so sent me a cease and desist. Da, 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 you know that.
yeah, because they never go to court. Nothing
Yeah.
ever comes of it. Um, Now I heard this, Shante, during filming, from another good source. Certain bells have thrown tantrums like the little girls on toddlers and tiaras about you being in scenes, like you just said, about you filming. Certain people are like, if she's there, I'm not gonna be there. Is that true or false?
That's true. I was told that too. I was told that too. I was told that if she's around, we're not coming. And to me, that means okay, so let's say if Tisha and Marie have an event, you know, and they
Mhm.
want all the bells to be there. And of course, you know, I'm gonna be there. And they say I'm not coming because of her. Okay, so my question to that person is, well, do you really support them? Because I don't care who's in the room.
Right.
And Tisha can tell you herself, I have sat in rooms with females that had sex with my ex-husband because Tisha had an event, but it wasn't about me. I was there to support. So if you genuinely support a person, it doesn't matter who's in the room. Show up for who shows up for you. And if we're talking about paperwork, I'm the
Mhm.
one who should be filing paperwork. You threaten me, not to my face, but you put a threat to me on camera, I will whoop up. You lied, said I'm talking about your child. And as someone that has lost a child, I will never talk about somebody's child. As someone who has children, I will never talk about somebody's child. You basically flipped the narrative saying that I said that you was going out here sleeping with clients. I didn't say that. So to me, the
Mhm.
apology that I gave to her, she had to
Mhm.
get into herself because you created that story for you. And I was also told that she should be grateful because before the scene with me, she had nothing to give.
I heard that. I heard that a lot. I'm gonna go to this. Like, I wish I could find it. I saved it when Taisha, the decorator, came on. Right, I
Hmm.
remember there was an interview that Tamara did where she was saying allegedly she was on the chopping block, and Taisha allegedly was brought in to save her. So Tambra, yes, if I could find it, I wish I could. But Tambra has not been this popping since Taisha the decorator. And that's just being honest. I watched the show since the beginning. If it's not that, even I'm gonna say the thing about when Tambra and the whole baby, right? To me,
Hmm.
that was supposed to be your moment, your big season. It should have been a baby special. It should have been all kinds of stuff. That fell flat. What do
Yeah.
you think about Taisha the decorator? Because I feel like you kind of in the same boat as Taisha as far as like people's reaction. What do you think? Because you've gone through this now with Tambra, and now it's sort of like the same thing.
I think it should, I mean, she pulled from the same playbook. You find a way to make yourself a victim in the situation, and you find a way to attack that person's character, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, you know, she incorporated Papa Smurf, you know, baby daddy, to talk stuff about Tasha. But if I'm being real, I don't know the man like that personally,
Mm-hmm.
but the way I heard his name and like his affiliation was through Tasha. I never, and I know that him and Timber, like they were together, weren't, you know, things like that. I said, but I heard that, you know, I didn't know if they were friends, if it was a relationship, but the first time I ever heard his name, it was, you know, because we used to help Tasha when she was in Jackson, like with events and stuff, you know, we would show up to her stuff. So that's the first time I ever heard his name. Now, relationship status and things like that, I don't know. I don't speak on things that I don't know, hadn't been told. And if somebody told me, I would say, so and so told me this. But that is the first time I've ever heard of him was with that affiliation. So I mean, and I think she, like I said, she just pulled from the same playbook. Let me attack her, call her the decorator, and keep trying to diminish her. This girl is a world-renowned decorator. I think she's done weddings. She's done, she's right there with Deion Sanders. Like, this is somebody that you can't just be like, you can't little girl her. But right. I get it.
Because Keyshia had a whole following in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I've been given, a lot of people do not think her and Demond are really a thing. They think it's fake. People have questioned it because it's always an excuse. And you on the show, when y'all get ready to shoot, y'all know ahead of time when you got to film, the day, the time. So it's easy to say, well, he's at work. All these people on this show have a damn job. You got PTO, Demond don't have PTO, you can't take off, you can't use vacation time, but you magically were at the reunion and you weren't even featured this season. So a lot of people do have an issue with that. Now, I'm going to have to get into this because people sent this to me. There was a lot of talk about you and Lateshia. What did Lateshia say when this beef with you and Tamara was going on in the whole cease and desist?
I mean, she thought it was funny. How could you take that serious? Because the first thought was, that doesn't make sense, Tamara. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you send somebody paperwork, especially when you've talked about that person? You got in interviews and told people that I'm a dangerous person.
Yeah.
And I have not once threatened you, but I'm a dangerous person. Please let me know how I have been dangerous. Like I said, if anybody should have been filing paperwork, it should have been me. Defamation of character. It should have been me. But I don't roll like that. Like that stuff rolls off my back. It don't affect my day and it don't affect my pay. I don't care. Like, but if that's what you want to do because you need to make sure you can keep stuff going because you rolled this ride as long as you can ride it.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be clear, people have came back to me and said, Tamara needed you the second half.
Yeah, because the scenes were few and far between, honestly. And a lot of times, from me watching the show from the beginning, when Tamara is not in the scene, sometimes I don't even think about it. And that's just being honest. And then I'm like, oh, she wasn't there. But she did threaten you in her big head with her big belt in that old car like she was going to run you over like Serial Mom. So
like maybe I need to, explore those avenues. I don't know. But the Oakland in me won't even let me be that weak. the Oakland mixed with that Pila Hatchet won't even let me be that weak, But I will say this about the situation because she did try to make it a thing about me speaking on her relationship. And it goes back to, this is why in the beginning, I used to read the comments of what people were saying and make myself mad and go back and forth with them. But then I said, you know what? They making a decision off a 3-minute clip. And
right.
Half of these people that's talking about this and saying this hadn't even watched the show from beginning to the end. Because if you go back, and I challenge anybody that watches this video that has not watched Belle Collective from season 1 until now, go back and watch it. Her acting like this is the first time she's ever heard that her and Demond are not really together is asinine. You have had Bells that have questioned that. Mm-hmm. You had a whole scene where it was a security guard pushing y'all away because you scared of what somebody might say. Like, we're not going to do that. You're the same person that met this man in the park with a specimen cup talking about, we doing this.
That's why people have questioned it. So.
But for me to say it,
it's an issue.
Oh no, it's the first time I heard that. Nobody thinks that. And it was so funny to me because I can't remember if they played it in the scene or not. We at the focus group. And when she's talking about it, and Latrice said, you and the man have always been together. Oh, were they together season 2 when you said they would?
Oh.
Help me.
So, speaking of Latrice, it was a comeback comment made about you being a mouthpiece. Were you brought in to help Lateshia? Because a lot of people in the comments say, okay, Shante saying this, she's taking them on for Lateshia. Were you brought on? Did Lateshia need help? What's the deal?
Okay, weak people need help. I don't surround myself with weak people. Teacher never asked me for her help, but at the same time, you have to look at it like this. If you
Mhm.
are a friend to a friend and you have sat back on the sidelines and been respectful and watched people say stuff, just attacking, just attacking, just attacking. And when they get a little more, let's see what else we can say. Let's see what else we can say. Until it's like, okay, so y'all bitches ain't gonna stop. So it comes a point to where you be like, look, come on, let's what are we doing? We're gonna call a spade the spade. Shout out to Kira. But we're gonna call the spade because we're not gonna sit here and keep playing. And that was my whole stance on it. So no, to clarify, Tisha never asked me to be a mouthpiece for her. But I mean, she's spoken up in situations for me. It's gonna be vice versa. And even if you pay attention to when we're at Carrie's party and I asked Latrice, I didn't come to her in no negative way. I'm not in her face. I'm literally like 5, 10 feet away from you. And all I say is, Latrice, can I ask you a question? Because they were having this kumbaya moment. And we've seen them be kumbaya so quick, just like that. And then next week, what? The guns are blazing.
Right.
So I was like, in that moment, do you feel like there's anything that you need to apologize to Tisha for? And when I said that, my whole thought process was, if I have an event at my house and somebody is wronged at my house,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have some kind of responsibility for what went on. Even if you want to play the card of, I didn't know Amanda was going to do that, I didn't know production was going to do that, it's still your house. But for
Right.
you to get out here and stand 10 toes down and be like, I don't care. And it's the same person that said Tisha is like mud to me. She don't matter, this and that. For you to get out there and say stuff like that, and now you want to kumbaya? Like, it's no accountability, no type of apology. And her response to me was, you Tisha friend, I don't have to talk to you. Who said you had to talk to me? I asked you a question. I didn't know that asking somebody a question was attacking them.
Right.
Because if I'd have known that, I'd have asked you a whole lot more questions.
Oh, and just for me, just watching it, even when Tisha, you did your big one, baby. It really gave me like Mia X in the No Limit Cap when she was like, "You don't have to like me, but you will respect me. I'm the reason you." I was like, "Okay, Tisha, you better flow on a damn mixtape. You better let them
Okay.
know."
All she needed was a look, one of them.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did your big one with that, Tisha.
I
Tisha
felt
P.
it.
Oh, we got to get into video games now. That was a big deal. Black Twitter went crazy. People in the comments went crazy. What made you have a conversation with the Juice Man slash the Kool-Aid Man?
First of all, I need $1 for all these comments because, sister need a new purse. But, okay, so like when, of course, when we had to sit down and everything started coming out and then she started joining all these blogs, things were being said from her, people for her or whatever. And so it was getting back to me with, oh, he said he don't like Shante. He can't stand her. She's this, she's that. And I'm like, what? Now, we don't know each other like that, like personally to where we, loaning money to each other, but what are you talking about? I've done nothing to this guy, you know.
Mhm.
So me, because hey, I'm gonna put it on Front Street, and I believe in being accountable, and I believe in facing the situation for what it is. So let me just go up here because I hadn't been up there in a while due to like some personal reasons. I just hadn't been up there due to a fallout that he had, and I was being loyal. So I was like, I'm just not gonna go. So let me just go up here. I go and I, sit there waiting to order my drink. And, we speak, start talking. He recognized me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, this don't seem like somebody that hate me. And we were having conversation before. And my whole thing was like, I believe in vindication.
Mhm.
And I was like, maybe this is a way for me to like clear my name, because I don't need you out here saying I'm lying on you and I'm doing all of this and I'm saying you selling ads for ads, and I just don't need all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get to talking about it, and of course, people, y'all have seen some context of the video. I won't get into the video a whole lot because number one, the video is 5-6 minutes long, and I don't know where we're picking up at with it, so I don't know.
Right.
And I no longer own the video. The video has been sent up, so it's not mine anymore. But I will say, in that conversation, for me, it was more about, okay, so you're lying when you say this man speaking on my name ill, saying he can't stand me and this, and that. And then it's more of, you're lying when you say, like you vindicate the situation, because when you hear the comment of, oh, so-and-so over there pillow talking, what's pillow talk? I knew where it came from, when it got back to me. Then you're saying certain things, and I'm like, okay. But my whole thing was, like I said, it was just more about the vindication and just more about me just being able to say, how can you create this story where you saying that I'm saying you sleeping for clients and sleeping with clients? And I think it got back to me that she said that he threatened to leave the radio station. He threatened to not be a client no more. And I was like, what? Off of this? Because I'm going to be honest, if he would have took the stance of, man, why you do that, da-da-da-da, I'm finna leave, I don't want to be working over there with her because this and that, I'd have said no. I took that on my shoulders. Like, no, I made the decision to, tell what was told to me. So I don't believe in anybody catching strays, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the stance that I got. So I
Mm-hmm.
will say, on the video gate, I know y'all out here saying, oh, it fell flat, the receipt wasn't receiving, and this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
The video is 5 minutes long. And if it was nothing, why are we coming back to it next Friday?
Okay. And I mean, if you own the radio station, you would care about losing a client. She doesn't
That
own the
makes
radio station.
yeah,
She
that
just
makes
works there.
yeah, because I remember there were talks with an attorney friend of mine, because at one time he was going to purchase it. And he was saying that he didn't like the way that it was ran, so he decided, not to. And now I think the Smith brothers have it. But yeah.
Now, the edits to me, they can always go in favor of a bill, like with that whole scene to me. Because we can only go by as a viewer what's seen, but a lot of people don't understand. Y'all, like you said, y'all shoot for a long time. This reunion was a long shoot. How do you feel about that response from people saying, "Oh, this wasn't what she thought it was"? Because we didn't see it. So how did that make you feel?
It didn't make me feel any kind of way. I go back to what I said earlier. People are making a decision and a statement based off of a 2-3 minute clip. So I can't put a whole lot of stock into what people are saying. I can respect the fact that you're commenting on what you're seeing, because that's all we can do. You're going to
Mhm.
comment on what you saw. I'm going to come in and speak on things that I've seen. So I'm not mad at that at all. If everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Now, another thing that people noticed, I noticed, they brought this to my attention. One of the things they do on Belle Collective, there are a lot of scenes that are cut, but they're like digital exclusives. You know what I'm talking about? Like they make,
Oh, the cut scene,
yeah,
and they put them like on YouTube or something. Yeah.
yes. To me, a lot of those scenes really should be on the show. Now, Tambra had a scene where Zaman and the Juice Man and her met up. Now, this was a scene that was also cut. Did you ever get a chance to see where they're sitting down and talking and basically, he asks us stuff about Tambra. People notice this and I noticed this. This Juice Man, not OJ the Juice Man never said no. Like how people ask a question or talk about something, and instead of giving an answer, they just start talking about something else. And that goes over a lot of people's heads, but it can't go over my head because I didn't watch too many episodes of Perry Mason with my grandma. he started talking about something else. He never said, no, there was nothing between me and Tambra. No, they just said something like, well, you know how Jackson is, and people talking, they giggled and laughed, and it was fidgety. Did you see that scene, the uncut, the
Yeah,
digital thing?
somebody sent it to me, and when they sent it to me, their thing was when they sent the message to me, they said he still didn't say whether it was true or not. I was like, well, you know. And I'll go back to what I said. I don't care whether it's true or not. Like my whole thing is like, do I believe it? Yes. But am I out here trying to start a court case on it? No, I don't want to be Perry Mason with your grandma on the show. I'm good. But but what I will say is, I saw the scene and that's what they sent to me, and I looked at it for myself and I was like, no, he doesn't, really just come out and say, no, I've never touched you. No, that's not anything that we've ever done, or you always been the homie or whatever. But yeah, but I guess we'll probably see that next season. He'll probably come back and, have to double down to help.
So how did we get to the point where she started calling him like a client? Because I'm gonna say this. I heard this, and this is allegedly. I heard that, and I'm not gonna name the Belle, but I heard he dated a Belle, and she knew. Yes, Tambra knew that he dated this Belle, and also dated somebody's sister-in-law too.
Now, I did hear the sister-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't heard the Belle.
Yes.
So I'm gonna need that too. I'm gonna have to call you after. What's your number? But when you coming over for dinner?
Look,
I need to know who it was. It wasn't Tisha, was it?
no, it was not Lateshia. It was not Miss Pearson. Mrs. Pearson, no. But she knew.
That's to make sure she wasn't out here getting licks back.
She knew, like leftovers from an Olive Garden dinner, that these were that Belle's leftovers, and still went behind her and tried to pick up the pieces. So.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I guess it kind of aligns with, because when, she started saying stuff, because I didn't know she had gotten the blogs, so people started sending me stuff. And they would be like, she said this and she said this. And I was like, well, dang, she real active. Okay. And they would be like, and she's saying all this stuff. And I was like, And then so when she does that, people start sending you stuff. They were like, well, did you know this? And did you know this? And the next time you get in the scene, you should say this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because
But did I do it? No.
People send me stuff all the time. Now, some of the stuff I just take as like, whatever. But I have to do my homework, and some of the stuff I'm able to like investigate. And one of the things people send me, they have an issue with Tambra. They feel like Tambra does not give enough, right? I'm gonna say this, and I've always said this. Like, a lot of people now, like, oh, you don't like Tambra, even with her trying to do little indirect thing. It's not like I don't like her. I don't know Tambra personally. I just run my mouth on what I see on the show. A lot of times people are scared to ask questions. I don't mind asking. I got a big mouth. My grandma raised me. I saw her gossiping, so I'm gonna ask the questions. But I will say this. I said this in season 2. People wanted more of a feel for Tambra. People are starting to say that. Tambra willingly signed up to be on this show. And a lot of times people in the comments defend her. That's fine if you want to defend her, but we're going to keep it a buck. She willingly signed up to be on this show, right? She got the contract. She knew what it was. You cannot sit up here as a full-time cast member and give the bare minimum. I've always said I feel like Marie has clocked in. Marie has talked about her personal life, her love life, her family, her finishing school, different issues. Marie has given. Lateshia, since the start of the show, people have went in on her marriage, brunches, this, that, the outfits, that she's dealt with it, she's rolled with it. Latrice even dealt with the situation in the parking lot at M-Bar with her husband and all that. She had to go through that. She dealt with it too. Even Essie, as a friend of the show, has told stuff about like her health, her parents, losing her parents. She's just a junior Belle, a friend of the show, and she didn't clock all the way in. So even now with Carrie, her mother-in-law, the issues, I'm gonna even take it to Selena, because to me, when they had that sit down with Selena, they was talking about the picture thing and Mike and the baby, right? Selena dealt with that. Now I would have flipped that table over like I was Teresa Giudice and really said it all, but she dealt with it. Aikisha dealt with stuff. Gucci, the whole thing with her and Selena, stuff with her daughter, stuff with her marriage. All of these bells, even Antoinette. Now, Antoinette really wasn't that interesting when she came back. She kind of, I don't know if she was hyped up on Molly or what, but Whitney Houston, that's what they were saying. I don't know if she had a slow problem, but Antoinette came back with a vengeance. All of these women that are bells I have named have given something. With Tambra, and I don't have a problem with Tambra, but I'm being real when I review it. It's always an excuse. It's always, y'all get a sheet, y'all know the times. It was traffic. She said that one time, it was like, girl, we in Jackson. What goddamn traffic do we got? Even when people get off work, it's always something with the baby. You got a big mama, you got a TT, you got a play cousin. People gonna keep that baby. It takes a village, and your village gonna come through. It's always an excuse. It's always something. It's never Tamara can show up. It just say, I don't like this person, or I want to fight you. It's always indirectly Tamara. So a lot of people feel like she needs to go. Even in the interview Marie did, where Marie with no chaser, right? Marie did not name any name.
That
and I'm
was
glad
a great
she did.
interview. It was a great interview.
Great interview. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Marie said we need one, maybe two bells. She didn't even have to say it, because I don't know about the two, but I know the first name that came to my mind, and everybody else was Mississippi Tammy Faye Baker. Tambra, you not clocked in, baby. And that's just what it is. Now, maybe you will be better as a friend of the show. You on here, you giving more than Tambra. You giving Tambra a storyline. Yes, you have. And people are saying it. Regardless if people like you or not, I don't think people understand the essence of a reality show. If you were not there, what would Tambra have to give this season?
Well, I think y'all saw it in the second half.
And I'm going to even say this, because I got flack for this, but I'm just going to have to say it. The thing with her father, right? First off, I'm never going to talk bad about anybody's parents. Like I said, that's off limits.
Right.
What my issue was, because I tweeted this and she responded. My issue with that, and I'm going to put myself in this mix.
Okay.
When she said her father might have had a stroke, right? Might have. You keep saying the words. Pay attention to the words, people. Might have. A stroke is easily detected. I even said this. My ex-boyfriend was a nurse. He would smoke cigarettes. He had a mini stroke because he smoked. They were able to check. So when I asked him, I said, he sometimes watch the show. And I'm like, well, Tambra tweeted at me. She tweeted something like, I'm surprised you're saying this, because I said something, well, if he's had a stroke, we got UMC, we got Central Mississippi, we got the Baptist. They'll be able to tell if you've had a stroke, right?
Right.
So she said something like, I'm surprised it's coming from you, da-da-da-da. Then she goes on to say something like, well, the ambulance thought, no, ma'am. Ambulance are there to get your ass stable and get you to the hospital. An ambulance is not going to diagnose you. They just drive you there. Now, the scene with Tambra, and I get that when she's on the phone with him, I don't know nobody who's having a stroke and they're going to say, well, let me put your daughter on the phone. I'm just being real with you. And I'm not being malicious, but I'm just stating what I do know about people having strokes. And they're going to be able to tell a doctor, not a CNA, not a phlebotomist, not a janitor at the hospital. They're going to be able to do a scan and tell if you have had a stroke. And that's just the God's honest truth. Now, Tambra has come back and say, and I hate this, she said the thing about dementia. I hate that for anybody. But you got to realize, if you're saying something and putting it out there, you got to research what you're putting out there if you're rolling with a storyline.
Oh, so he didn't have a stroke. It was dementia?
Well, that's what she said on the reunion. She segued into that. And see, this is the thing about a lie. And I don't know her dad's situation, but when you tell a lie, it twists and turns. When you tell the truth, it's just gonna go straight, and your story not gonna change. So if you keep saying the doctors don't know if he had, yes, the doctor will. What damn doctor you consulted with, Dr. Seuss? Like,
Well, I'll draw from my own experience because I'm like you. I don't, I try to tread lightly when it comes to parents. My heart does go out to her with the situation with her dad because even, I know when people get up in age, they do start to, go through life experiences that are unfortunate. So my heart does go out to her on that. As someone that has lost their mom before, before my mom passed away, she had received a diagnosis because she was a diabetic. And they were getting ready to do some things. And our first thought process was, let's get a second opinion because I can't just rock with that to where she's going to go through something that's going to change her life.
right.
Now, in my experience in the medical field, because I've been in all aspects of it since 2002, a stroke can be detected with range of motion and brain activity. So I don't know if she wasn't privy to those conversations, if she's wanting to be private about the situation. But I guess if you put it out there, you might as well put it all the way out there. But I don't know. I can't speak for her in that aspect. And like I said, I'll tread very lightly when it comes to parents because, with me going through mine, I just know that a might have diagnosis wouldn't have been enough for me.
Right.
If I have a provider telling me this might have happened, it could be this, I got questions. And then if something else, because how are you able to treat and assess when you can't tell me what is going on?
Right.
Like if I got a cold, you're not going to treat me for a toothache.
Right. That's
So
that's it. That's the only thing I wanted to know. Like, because everybody, I pay attention to words, and not you, she keeps using the word may have had, or they don't know, or it's a stroke, baby. Yes, they will know. Like my same ex-boyfriend, auntie had a stroke. She's in a nursing home. When they took her and did a checkup, they was like, Norma had a mini stroke. So it can be detected. I just like rolling with facts. Like if I'm putting something out there, if I'm saying something, it's not that I'm insensitive because I'm sensitive. I got a grandma I take care of and a mama I take care of. My grandma is going to be 96. My mama deals with many health elements. She found out she had cancer. We got through that. My mama deals with schizophrenia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not insensitive. I'm taking care of them. I'm the caretaker. So I'm never not insensitive. I'm just saying if I'm going to say something, it's going to be logical. And that was not logical that a medical doctor did not know.
yeah, I mean, if the doctor walked away with that situation and that's what he came out and told me, I'd have 1,000,001 questions. Like I just, like I said,
Or
but
he
I
got
don't.
his degree out of a Cracker Jack box, because I'm just saying. Um, so I'm going to go to this because I'm going to get off there, baby, because that got me riled up. Don't y'all
Yeah,
come
I
for
can
me if
tell
y'all
you got
want
a
to hurt
little.
me. I'm just saying I didn't like that feedback you gave me, Tambra. Now we got to meet at Ichiban and we got to thug it out and you need to tell me some stuff. I'm with it, baby. I ain't got no problem because I stand on what I say. Amanda was there and you said I ran so you could walk to Amanda. I heard she was there because you came. Is that true? And I heard that they were trying to block you from coming. Now it would have made sense to me if Amanda came last season, but not this season. So were you the reason she was there?
Yeah, I was. In conversations that I had, it was like, we want you to be there. It only makes sense for you to be there. But we have certain people that say if you walk out on the stage, then we're going to we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave the stage. So, when people have to worry about the integrity of the show and worry about what they're gonna film for the reunion, when you have people saying, well, if she comes out, we're gonna leave. I feel like Amanda was brought there for a compromise. Because like you said, your storyline was last season. When we needed to see the DMs that you keep talking about that we still haven't seen, when we needed to see those, that was last season. So it didn't make any sense, this season. for you to, come on and basically say the reason why. And then, they didn't show it, but she basically made the statement the reason why she went in Glenn DMs is because she was upset about the year that Tisha and Marie stood over Latrice, and, Letitia called her an insecure bitch, and, she was mad from that because of how y'all did. So I was thinking, like, well, if you got mad and hopped in Glenn DMs and, putting yourself out there for a beef, did you get in Cedric DMs too? Marie, does Cedric got some DMs that we don't know about? I need to
Baby,
see.
Marie would have shut it
If that's
down.
the reasoning, if that's the reasoning for you saying this is why you went in Glenn DMs and this is why you went after Tisha because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you go after Cedric too?
No, now she ain't gonna play with Monroe like that.
I just want to know. That's a legitimate question. Like, because if that was your reasoning, you know.
But that's to me, if I'm like I go hard for my friends too, right? If you my friend,
Be out there in somebody DM
yeah,
making it
I'm
seem
not
like
gonna
I
do
want
that.
them for my friends.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go hard for you and do what I got to do, but I'm not gonna play on somebody's marriage. That's too much.
When I see you, my thing is gonna be the same way when I said it to Latrice. Don't you think y'all should have? Don't you think you should apologize? The same way I went to Timber. Okay, why didn't you tell Tisha about the rumor that was going around? Instead, you thought it was funny and you laughed in the phone. Like that's actually comforting. Having a conversation, actually making that person be accountable for that situation. I didn't hop in Cliff inbox. I didn't hop in Demond inbox. I didn't do anything like that. I went to the person. Like it didn't make any sense. Why would you try to attack someone through their husband, through their marriage? If you feel a certain way about a situation, have the conversation. And then like I think you heard it when Tisha said, you waited to have the conversation at the pool party when I had just seen you at, another spot last week.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I mean, I don't think you would have to hop in Damon's inbox. Allegedly, from what I'm hearing, he likes to hop in a lot of people inbox, but that's just what the street giving me. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what
Well,
y'all
I
been
got
saying.
the communication as well, Jay. I got that communication as well.
Mhm. Yeah. So this is a question. Now I'm gonna have to ask this. Because a lot of people want to know, they feel like with you and Tisha, like how has this affected y'all friendship? I got a lot of questions about that. Has it you being on the show changed anything? Do you feel? Yes or no?
Um, in what sense? Like in show life or in our personal life? Like what? I mean, what's the
In
context of the question?
personal, like, okay, I'm gonna have to say this because this was a question.
Okay.
Like, let's look at for this to make sense. I'm gonna use Real Housewives of Atlanta as example.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say like Portia and Shamia, right?
Mhm.
When Shamia was like a friend of the show, Portia was like cool. And a lot of people have said this. Now I don't see this, but people say, well, Letitia doesn't want Shante to be a Belle. But I'm like, what are y'all seeing that I'm not seeing? Because she's literally on here, and I feel like if you my friend and I'm on this show and you want to come out, bring your ass on. I'm gonna get you on. But a lot of people feel like that's the thing because like I said, the people give me stuff and people were like, Shantae has all this stuff. So when I looked you up, baby, like the Carface, now I did look you up, I'm not gonna lie. They sent me stuff, but I still looked you up because I got a way to pull stuff. And I'm like, okay, she's legit. Yes, I'm gonna tell you. I had somebody say that's like a good source, like Tisha doesn't have what Shantae has. And I'm like, well, they're friends. That doesn't matter. And this person was like, I feel like she does not want her to be a Belle. So has it affected y'all friendship at all? Like, do you feel y'all are still the same? Do you feel there's any tension? Like,
Well, number one, she's never told me that she doesn't want me to be a Belle. We're gonna be honest. She's never told me that. We've been friends since we were 14, 15, years old kids. So the way that we always roll in our circles, what I have is yours and what you have is mine. So there's no, oh, she got more here, she got more of that. It's whatever you lack, I got. Whatever you need, I'm gonna give it to you. Whatever you want. So things like that. So I wouldn't, as far as the dynamic and change in our friendship, it's funny because being on the show actually made us communicate more. It actually forced us to have a lot of hard conversations, with each other and see things differently, and see each other's side. So in a sense, I will say that I feel like the show was beneficial to our friendship because we get so tied up in our lives, and people who know me, they'll tell you, you don't know where I am from one day to the next. I may be in Texas, I may be in Atlanta, I may be, I'm here and there, and she's moving around and doing stuff that she's doing, and we have kids, and it's family stuff. So a lot of times we may go weeks without talking.
Right.
But when because we're the type of friends, like, you don't have to call me every day to let me know you my friend. I don't need that. If you go to calling me every day to myself, I love you, friend, I love you, sis, you my boo, you everything to me. Now I'm looking at your side eye like, bitch, what you doing? So we don't have the kind of relation. Now we do check-ins, we might send a text, might do this, might send a meme or some stuff like that. But the show basically forced us to be around each other way more. Because what people don't know, we did a whole lot more filming than what y'all saw. But because people started hating on the dynamic, and like, trying to make it a hard situation, y'all didn't get to see a lot of that stuff, and it's unfortunate. But I would say, in a sense, it pretty much forced us to communicate more, forced us to check on each other more, and it actually and I know that because I even got messages people sent me, oh, we felt like she was, downing you or being hard on you when you asked Latrice the question in the next scene, that we hit or whatever. And I was like, and at first I was kind of like, okay. But you have to, I'm the type of person that the Capricorn in me will take a step back and try to see stuff from both sides. And I think from her side, it was more of, now I'm in a position to where I gotta, number one, defend you to the other Bells, and then number two, they're gonna start saying this, and that. And then number two, I get that you showing up, as my friend, but why you didn't tell me you was gonna do that? Well, I didn't tell you I was gonna do it because you told me to stop. And if you know us, that's pretty much our dynamic. She's a thinker, I'm a sayer. So, and she's a thinker, I'm a sayer. She may be, behind the scenes trying to put puzzle pieces together. I'm just gonna put that shit together and be like, this is what I think it is. So, and for us, that dynamic works, because I do believe if you have a yin yang situation, that your friendship will be a whole lot better, and you can understand and see things from different sides. So I do feel like in our situation, with our friendship, do I feel like, does the friend in me feel like she could have done a little bit more, told them, hey, fuck y'all, this my friend? Yeah. I'll be honest. I feel like that. But then the business person in me, the person that, wants her to thrive, is, okay, you had to take it on the chin, for the show. Because if you think about it, she's taking a lot of stuff on the chin for the show. So as a friend, now I'm over here taking shit on the chin with you.
Yeah.
So I think, so to answer that question, and I don't think, and people probably felt like we were going to be in a negative space, and then you reference, Portia and Shamia. I don't harbor anything, with Tisha, and I don't think that she harbors anything with me. So I think part of the Portia and Shamia situation, Shamia harbored a lot. Shamia was in situations where she should have spoke up, but she didn't. And Tisha would tell you to herself, if it gets to be so much, I'll pull her to the side and say, hey, let's have a friend moment. I feel like this. And we did have a friend moment during that, and I feel like that. And she told me her side, and I told her mine. And we walked away agreeing to disagree. Because like I said, the friend does feel like if I'm your best friend, if you tell the people you're my best friend, the way you stand 10 toes down for them, I need you to stand 10 toes down for me. You know, I need when they're in rooms saying Shante messy. Shante, you know, she every time she come around, she do this, she do that. No. Shante holding y'all accountable. That's who Shante is. Y'all not gonna be able to pull the wool over her eyes. Y'all not gonna play with her. Y'all not gonna, you know, it's just a difference. And I just feel like in that sense, you have to actually be in the situation to understand it. Because in hindsight, it does look like, oh, she didn't even support her friend. Oh, she didn't even, you know, have her friend back, and her friend had her friend back. But you have to kind of like take a step back and see it from both sides. And, you know, I would just want her to know that it's genuine love. You know, me being a Belle wouldn't change anything with us or our dynamic. If anything, I felt like other people didn't want to see that. And I feel like people, because a lot of stuff she will tell me and she will not tell me because she knows how I am. I feel like a lot of people were getting in her ear saying a lot of things, you know, that weren't true, just to try to make sure that that didn't happen.
I can see that, and I had to ask that because that's not something, like I said, I didn't think that.
Hey,
But
I told you, nothing is off limits. Hey, ask
yes,
me.
you did. But I do feel like, to me, with Lateshia, I feel like she kind of goes through a lot because it's the reaction from us, right? We're quick to say this about her marriage. We're quick to criticize this, that, and the other. And now you're on there, and that has to be a lot, especially with people in your ear. And it's kind of like, well, you saying this, or you saying that. So I know you said like y'all will pull each other to the side and have like a friend moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But have y'all ever in the past before the show ever had like anything and y'all had to be like straight up with each other? Y'all have always just been like real with each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time. You know, and they tried to touch on it on the show, but they didn't know anything about it. They didn't know any context. Yeah, we did go through a situation where she wasn't seeing my side and I wasn't seeing her side. And, you know, before it gets to the point to where we're out here bashing each other, because you'll never catch me on the internet saying stuff I can't take back. And vice versa with her. Because we witnessed that years ago with two people that we knew, like they took it to the gutter. And I feel like if you're somebody's friend and you know all they bad and all they good, because she know all my bad, I know all her bad, you know, we know that, then there's certain things that you still hold that you just don't put out there. Because even if y'all are upset and even if mad day comes, you still think about you love that person.
Right.
You know? So I just feel like, you know, it's just it's a catch-22 situation where you don't know how to maneuver through that, but you have to have those conversations. You have to be transparent. You got to put stuff out there. You have to say how you feel, because when you harbor stuff and, you know, then you look around and you mad, you know, and then you got all this, look at Portia and Shamia.
Yeah.
And I'll say all day long, I am Team Shamia. But in a sense to where I feel like she should have spoken on a lot of things that were hurting her before you just blurt it out. Could she have chosen different moments to have those conversations? Yes. But if we think about it, in seasons before, she had actually tried to sit Portia down and have a conversation with her. And Portia sat at their lunch like she could be doing anything else. And Shamia is a good one, because that would have been the last day we'd have been friends. Because if I'm sitting here and I'm pouring my heart out to you and you're not listening, no. And even and thinking about that moment, I think about, and I'm pretty sure Tisha probably don't care about me sharing this. When we had our situation and we were ironing the stuff out and we were talking, we sat on the phone all night long, listening to each other, the good, the bad, the ugly. So and so said this, and so said this, and they put this out here, and they made it seem like you felt like this. What?
Yeah.
You know, but we needed to have that conversation And we needed to check our friendship because, like I said, we're not the type of people that you don't have to call me every day. I got too much going on talking to you every day. But
Right.
sometimes you do have to have those check-ins where you like, you reassure the friendship because the friendship is a relationship. The same way you got to nurture a relationship, you got to nurture a friendship.
I get it. Now, people want you to be a Belle. I personally feel like you should be a Belle, but I want people to know more because when I think of the Bells, one of the things I keep saying I wish they would focus on is more of Bells in business. Like I don't mind a little reads here and there, but I love seeing the ladies do business. I love that. I love seeing Marie open a clinic. I love seeing Latrice give people their edges back and open a restaurant. I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm gonna stop. I was Mississippi Tammy say back. You give us stuff on the radio. I would love to see her interview people more on the radio because that's what you do. We don't even get that. So, I
Mm-hmm.
love Selena launching her collection and doing earrings now, and Tisha, bail bonding and coming in and doing houses and, just different stuff. Now, Tisha, I do want you to do a fun brunch. I don't want you to do an empowerment brunch. You need a brunch where people can decompress, baby. That's the kind of brunch where you play in the Isley Brothers and Mary Jane. Yes. But I feel like you should be a Belle because like I said, I looked you up. They sent me your stuff, and you do have a legitimate business. Can you tell? Why did you shake your head? I had to look you up. These people give me all kinds of shit. Listen, they even pulled some people land roll the taxes and sent me, baby. I'm just saying, y'all nosy. But can you tell these people about your business? Because it's legit. I looked it up. Yes, I did.
Number one, you are the reason why my attorney sat me down when everything was done. He sat me down and he said, two things we're gonna do. We're gonna do an estate and we're gonna do a corp. I'm like, okay, what is that? Why am I doing that? That don't make any sense.
It does.
And now it makes sense. Because I think what he taught me, and I had to learn this because I didn't know a whole lot about, business in that aspect.
Mhm.
But he said the worst thing a person can do is put a whole bunch of stuff in their name.
Yes.
And I said, but why wouldn't I want to show that I own? Like, what are you doing? He said, it's the worst thing you can do. He said, we're
People
gonna
go
set it.
through this.
He said, we're gonna set it up like this. And I said, well, you know what? You done brought me this far.
Mhm.
you know, you done. So I can't do nothing but believe you. So let's do it. So shout out to him. Thank God, John Duff. He's a Texas attorney in Corpus Christi. Now, but tell him Shante sent you. No, his wife is an ex-Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. She probably gonna pick this up and call me and be like, "Duff said." But anyway, but yeah, you are the reason why. I'm glad I listened to him. But as far as you asked me about being a Belle,
Yeah, and
um,
your business.
so we'll do the Belle. So I'm with Marie. When she did the No Chaser interview, that was one of the best interviews that I could have watched. I mean, it was a little bit of shade with a whole lot of truth. And
Hmm.
one of the things that she said that stuck out to me, and one of the things that made me even jump on the women's empowerment brunches with Tisha and actually, follow that philosophy. Because at first I'd be the first one to tell you, what you mean empowerment? I don't need nobody empower me. I wake up every day.
Yeah.
But you do need that village. So, I will say, um, and Marie made the statement and she said, I want to be in a room with people that I can learn something from.
Right.
If I'm in a room with people that I can learn something from, wholeheartedly, hands down, yes. If I'm in a room where I can share my experiences and my good, bad, and uglies and not hearing about them next week, sure, hands down. But if I got to worry about you, if I say your skirt ugly, then the next day you call in the therapy clinic saying we hate Shante, wait a minute.
Right.
So it's like, come on now, let's make it equal. But yeah, so in that sense. So number one, it's a therapy company based out in Texas. We do PT, OT, ST, and feeding therapy in the home for pediatric patients. The idea derives when a lot of people don't know, but they probably know from watching my social media. I lost my daughter, my youngest child. So when everything was kind of settled down, and I had actually we were in Mississippi, living there, and then when my daughter passed away, I went to California. So I'm originally from California, and my whole mom's side pretty much lives in California. And my daughter passed away, and my family was just, how people want to be there for you, but they make it hard. And so I was like, let me just go somewhere where nobody knows me, nobody knows the story, about what happened or whatever. Because I'm at this time, I'm still fighting. Well, you don't know, but I'm still fighting the case, right? So I moved to Texas. So when I moved to Texas, I started working in this clinic. And because I've always been in healthcare. So I started working in this clinic. And it was a pediatric clinic. And I remembered when I started there, I thought it was going to be hard because of what my daughter went through. She was born at 24 weeks and she had to have a whole lot of therapy. So a lot of times we would have to pack up all this stuff and go to the hospital 3 times a week for 1 hour a day, and if you're a mom, you already know the diaper bag and the car seat is enough,
Right.
but I got diaper bag, car seat, apnea monitor, oxygen tank. Like it literally took 2 people to take her and just for us to go because we lived too far out for them to come in the home to do the therapy. So when I started working for the company, I noticed the same thing. And I was like, I'm still fighting the lawsuit. And I was just like, but this is my way of kind of paying it forward. I'm helping other kids, right? So the way the lawsuit went, because it was 3 different parties involved, instead of them going under one umbrella and having one law firm represent them, they took 3 separate attorneys. So it was hard because it's me fighting 3 cases, but it's beneficial. And that my attorneys kept telling me, they was like, because 3 claims equal 3 payouts. But you don't hear that as a mom. You like, whatever. You're like, every day I'm being attacked and I'm having to go through this situation and y'all blaming me because I didn't even know that when they do the liability form or like how the child passed away and what were the reasons, like they'll name out because this happened, that's why she passed away. Because this happened, they passed away. When I saw my name, I'm like, Mom. And my liability is 5%. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything to my child.
Why were
Oh,
you on there?
it's because of the age you were when you had her. It was considered a high risk pregnancy. I said, but I had no issues the whole while I was pregnant. My daughter came early due to a fall. And that, to me, was a hard day. It was so hard to wrap my mind around the fact, because all I heard was y'all accusing me of doing something to my child. Y'all saying I got a hand in the reason why she's not here. So going through that, so they do it's liability wise. So a lot of times, the one that has the least liability, they're quick to try to sell out. They want to get it done because there's no sense of us to go to court. So the first one came through with a settlement offer, and I was like, nope. Then they came back. We were going back and forth. So by the time when I finally agreed to something, and I said, you know what, I want my own thing. But I believe in everything paying for something. I believe in security. That's pretty much how I roll. So when the therapy company was in place and I worked for them, I went to them because it's kind of like it wasn't a huge clinic. I don't want to. It's not a mom. It was not a mom pop operation now. It's bigger, but I went and I was like, what if we did therapy in the home? And I talked about my experience. And they were like, well, we don't even have the funds to do stuff like that. And then one of the directors said, well, have you ever thought about trying to get a grant? And I was like, I don't even know how to write a grant. So she was like, let's write it together. Because if you don't know, a lot of times when you write a grant, if you can tie it to a situation and let them know how you choose to pay this forward, it's easy to get it approved. So that's when I was like, well, let's just do I was like, okay, let's do it if you don't mind sharing your story. So we used my daughter as context, for that in that situation and got the grant. But they were like, but that's still it's a lie, and we're still not going to that's a huge liability. If this is something that you want to do, you have to take it on all by yourself. Now anybody who knows me knows I love to play poker. And I'm always bet on me.
Yeah.
But when they told me that, and in my mind I'm thinking, but if you take this is gonna pretty much be all this little settlement. It's gonna be all of it. And I was like, if I take that, then how does that happen? If I take that, what does that look like for me? I'm still having to do work, right?
Right.
What if it don't work? Because we always got that in our. What if it don't work? Keep in mind, I've been in the military all across, worked in the healthcare, all this, but it's different when you're talking about owning something.
Right.
So when we worked it out, and when I found out the partnership would have me under their umbrella, because you think about it, healthcare and liability go hand in hand. It's so much stuff you could be liable for. People might not like the way you spoke to them that day, and they filed a complaint. So, so it was just like, but with me having that umbrella of protection with insurance, with different things like that, and they said, but the therapy portion, that's all you. It's like, okay. Therapy in the home, it kicked off. And this is one of the times, the second time, because the first time was with my mom when I had to know God was real. But this is the second time when I knew God was real. Right when we had signed the paperwork, and then you can kind of tell when people be like, this ain't gonna work. We just indulging her. This her money. We don't care. We still getting a percentage, whatever. It don't matter. When people looking at it like, this little black girl, whatever. COVID hit.
Oh.
That was the only way we could see patients.
Yeah.
Different conversations were trying to be had, but at that time it was, but so to push it forward now, once all the other lawsuits got done, we were able to push, some more stuff out there. So the therapy in the home is going really good. And one of the things that I did do now is, because me going to therapy, I was diagnosed with survivor's remorse. Because for a long time, I wouldn't even buy myself anything with the money because I kept saying, where's my child?
Right.
So, and with me going through that, I was like, how can I find a way to pay it forward? So then I did the my nonprofit, Kaylon Cares. So we started out doing a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, just making secret donations, doing stuff like that. Now it's been more like us being out in the community doing different stuff. So I have that as well. Now that I'm secure and I've learned how business works, I'm actually in the process, because I've had conversations with other healthcare people. Me and Essie even sat down and had the conversation where I complained about the outsourced billing. That's like one of my major hiccups. And I was like, what if I just do my own billing? But I was like, you know what? Let's take it a step further. So now I'm in the process of getting software and everything together, and I'm getting ready to launch an AR billing company to where we basically do any old claims that you can't get paid for. We try to negotiate those deals. We work with companies to make sure we're going to work with companies to make sure that we can, minimize their AR. We will do billing. I'm thinking about doing a couple of coders. So I'm actually in class now trying to get that certification, because I don't want to, you don't have to have the coding certification to own the business, but I like to have some type of knowledge, but when I jump into something. So that's what we're working on now.
You better come through, Shante. I can't call you Mississippi saying Shante. I'm gonna have to call you Moneybag Shante. Let me say this though. I'm so sorry that happened, to you and with your daughter. That is a lot. No parent wants to bury their child. You always want your children to bury you. So I'm so sorry that happened. But I do love the fact that out of that, no amount of money can bring back your daughter, but what you're doing is something positive, and people with healthcare, that's definitely important.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're doing that and you have a foundation, that speaks volumes. And this is the side I wanted people to see about you that it's more than, you being a bell ringer or, you being Mississippi Roxanne and Shante. Now you're from the Bay, but you grew up in Pelahatchie. What is Pelahatchie like? Because I've never been to Pelahatchie. What was it like growing up in Pelahatchie?
Um, Pelahatchie was cool. Pelahatchie, like, we came up being the it girls, like Issa was everything. Tisha was, we were it girls in our own right. Like, we had fun. When it was just fun to just be a girl, walking around the block, talking to each other and, basically learning how to drive together and sneaking to Morton, sneaking to Jackson. It was, Pelahatchie was, they would have dances. We used to, oh God, me and Tisha used to have parties. Like, we were like my grandmother's house, we would have parties in her living room. Tisha's aunt, we would have parties at her trailer when they used to be working that night. Like, we had fun. We lived life. Black Beach, we were there. Like, we lived. Pelahatchie is just, when people try to say bad stuff about Pelahatchie, I take it personal, baby, because Pelahatchie is where it's at.
Look, was
It might not
Essie
be,
always
but
quick with
Pelahatchie is
the
where it's at. Huh?
Was Essie always quick with her reads even back then?
Oh yes, now one thing, Essie has always been Essie, and the thing that you have to love and appreciate about Essie is when you watch somebody grind, and that's why she'll always get the utmost respect from me. You can't say nothing bad to me about Essie. We're gonna have a problem. You can say she thinks she all that, and I'm be like, and do, but Essie, she used to do everybody's hair. Essie was the only person for a long time I let do my hair. Like, so Essie was doing my hair, because and her dad was good with his hands, so he pretty much like rebuilt the shop that she was in. And her best friend was a barber in the shop, so he cut hair and she did hair. So, and all the while that she was doing that, she going to school. Like, hair paid for her, of course she was very smart. So she got an accounting degree, and I think, if I'm not I think that's how her and Marie met in school. And then I think that's when they started they had an accounting agency first. And so when they started doing that, and then they branched off to healthcare. But we literally watch Essie, grind. Like, you set the standard. Sometimes you want, and that's what I mean when I say being in rooms with people that can actually give you something that you can walk away from. I'll always be like, people say, Essie, I'm not, yes, I know Essie. It's with the mess. No, Essie. I don't care. Y'all, look, call it what you want. You can say what you want, but when you've actually like been around people and you've seen them go through stuff, and Essie and I, she's lost both her parents. I lost one of my parents. So people have to think about the whole situation before you're so quick to jump out and judge somebody based on what you're seeing on a 3-minute show.
That's true. And I like what you said about being in rooms with people. One thing I've always heard people say is if you're in a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you need
You're
to
in the
get out the
wrong room.
room.
You're in the
Yeah.
wrong room.
What
You are
do
in the
you
wrong room. Huh?
what do you want people to know about you? Like, I feel like you roll with a lot from people thinking whatever they think. From me, when you first came on there, I'm calling you Mississippi Roxanne Shante, and you just roll with it. What do you want people to know about you? Because now they get to see that you're a mom. You deal with regular life. You're a business owner. You had this house. I'm gonna find. I can find the house, baby. Trust me, because don't try to block it out now. Nah, don't try. But what do you want people to know about Shante at the end of the day? Like, take away whatever we think about you being on Belle Collective. Hopefully, you might be a Belle, or hopefully, you will keep being a friend of. But I feel like you're just like us. But what do you want people to know about you?
I don't think it's what I want people to know per se. Because I feel like everybody's experience with the person is different. I never meet anyone and feel like, oh, tell me about her, or how is she? Because I'm like, you have some people that will say, Shante give you the shirt off her back. But then you got some that be like, man, that bitch don't care about nobody. And I don't have a gray area. If I mess with you, I mess with you. If I don't, I don't. You know, So I'm transparent. And my thing is, and when people try to create narratives to say, oh, she thirsty, oh, she this, and oh, she's obsessed with Timber. When, why? I don't care. But I mean, I'm Shante. Like, and that's all I can be. That's all God and that's all my mom wanted me to be. Just be Shante. And either you roll with Shante or you don't. And trust me, if you don't, it does not change my day. It doesn't.
What did you think when I started calling you Mississippi Roxy and Shante?
It was crazy because the first thought that I had, well, Roxanne Shante was the first concert I ever went to when I was a little girl. Had no business in there with my mom and my aunt, but it was the first concert I ever went to, and so I was like, I indulged it. When you said I was on your list and you were saying all these things, that I was like, hold on, not too much on my name now. But But I just took it as it's all in fun. Several people have reached out to ask to do interviews with me, and I'm very selective with who I talk to because I'm not joining a bashing session. Like if you decide if you want to have an interview with me just because you don't like me, you want your friends to be on there, I'm not doing that because it's not my goal to change your thought about me. Because let's be clear. You can't change my thought about Essie. You can't change my thought about Marie. You can't change my thought about Tisha. You can't change my thought about people that I've seen and people that have done stuff for me and poured into me and said things to me. You can't change my thought about them. So it's on the same side. I can't change how you feel about Timber. I can't change how you feel about Latrice. Because if you standing 10 toes down for them, no matter what I say, no matter what you see, you still gonna ride for them. And I'm not mad at that.
Right. I get it. Now, let me say this. I'm going to have to take it to the street talk because, I get stuff. You said the thing about like court and all that. Now, I heard, don't look like that. Look, I heard you were in a court battle with your son. Is that true? Did the streets give it to me right? Don't not to get up. Shante. Okay, if you walk away, I'm still looking for house, baby. So go ahead.
What Josh do on that bro chat?
Right, the walk off. Go ahead, walk off because I'm around here zooming in your house. Yeah.
Get out my business, Jay.
But is that true?
It's true. I can laugh about it now.
Okay.
I can laugh about it now. But was that hard? Yeah. I think when relationships end or when somebody gets mad, that's when you see that real person.
Right.
So I just feel like a lot of the things that, like, we're in a good space now, but a lot of the things that he put me through during that time didn't make sense. And a lot of times there's things that no matter how you felt in that moment, you can't apologize and make that person be like, it's okay. Because with him, he was held to a higher standard in my life. And what I mean by that is, outside of my marriage, you were the longest relationship that I had. I supported you. I poured into you. I made you the man that you are today. You don't tell me that until you in a good mood, But I help. Women, we build our men. And I did that because I saw the potential that he didn't see in himself. And I poured all that into you, and I did all these things for you. And you were with me when I lost my mom. You know what I went through. You know how that just tore me down, And for him, and I'll say this too, when I lost my daughter, because me and his mom to this day, so me and my son's mom, we still have a close relationship. So when I lost my daughter, I called his mom because she had told me when I lost my mom that she wanted to be that mom figure for me, that she would always be here. So even though me and him weren't together, I called his mom and I was like, this is what's going on. And I didn't even know, but she was so upset. she just started praying, and, you know, she was, you know, around the house, and she told him. And he came to the hospital. So he was there, you know, and when my daughter passed away. And I always go back to that moment with him, and even when we had the conversation, it is so hard for me to just get to a point to where I can forgive you, but I can't forget, because you decided that it was okay to take me through a situation, and you watched me lose one child, and now you're trying to take another one from me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So, and like I said, and I do believe, you know, in divine intervention and, you know, in God. With me doing what I do, I had no desire to ever live in Mississippi again. I love Texas. I tell everybody, when my son graduates, he's 12 now. Mm-hmm. Baby, I'm 20 westbound. Like, you can't tell me nothing. I'm back in Texas. As soon as he graduates, like, it might be the next day, cap and gown, throw it off, let's go. But so that's what brought me back to Mississippi, because I was more on there's things that he can give him that I can't.
Right.
You know, there's things that I can give him that he can't. So we had to reach an agreement to where we decided to co-parent, you know, so we both, you know, we co-parent, we have shared custody. So that's what brought me back to Mississippi. So anybody that wants to know, so that's why I'm here. But yeah, it was a tough situation, to say the least.
How do you like, because you've been through a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of people cannot take, some people can't even take a bill collector calling them. So how do you get through like this stuff? Where do you get this strength or this faith from to weather this stuff?
Number one, I'll say my kids, because I have 3 other children. You know, my son, he's grown, he's 28. My daughter, she'll be 24 in 15 days. And then my youngest is 12. So I can't fall apart. You know, I can't say, forget this. I can't. Are there times when I want to? Yeah. Was it a time when I did? I went through my stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. But I think in each situation, I had to channel my mom and draw from her strength. And I had to take a lot of stuff and just keep going. I had to keep moving. And I think, and I'll say it now, as long as you keep moving, therapy, I've been to therapy twice, you know, still in therapy with my daughter. That it's helpful. When I went with my mom, it really didn't help because they just wanted to medicate me. So I'm not into medications like that, but I just feel like each situation that you come out of, it makes you better. The situation with my daughter, it took me a long time to come to an understanding with it. The situation with, you know, my mom, it took me a long time because the way she passed away, where she was, that played a big factor in my life to make me question God, you know, when we lost. And with my mom, I came to the realization, like you said, a child's supposed to bury their mom. Granted, I was 33 and she was 53, you know, but that's how it's supposed to go. And then the situation with my daughter, my oldest son said the most hurtful thing to me. And I can still hear his voice when he said it. What did we do to God that was so bad to where he keep doing it to us? And I was like, what do you say to that?
Right.
Because as your mom, I got the same question. I'm like, because even when I lost my daughter, people don't even know. And I'll be 100% transparent. And I hope this helps somebody. Mm-hmm. I used to wake up every day and ask God, why do you keep waking me up? Why you keep putting me through this pain? Right. And then I had to start saying, you know what? Let me figure out how I can help somebody else. Because we don't think about it, but it can always be worse. Right. It's a family that I donated to in Texas probably about 2 months ago. they lost everything. Like this mom and daughter, they lost two. She lost two sons and the father in a fire. They lost, like,
Wow.
how do you do that? There's been, I think there's a mom, I can't remember where, she lost all her kids. It can
Mhm.
always be worse. Not saying that that's something that we want to use as a comfort, but when you have those situations and you think about, woe is me, what can I do? Yeah, you can acknowledge it, you can feel that feeling, but get out of it. Like,
That's
turn
true.
the woe is me into a wow is me, and
Right.
and I think that I had to go through those losses to be the person that I am today. Because I'll be the first to tell you, back in my 20s, I wasn't perfect.
Mhm.
I was not. It was a time where you couldn't tell me nothing. you know. So, but I feel like I had to go through those losses so that I can accept the wins. And then now when I do have those small losses, it's not detrimental to me. And when people say stuff about me on the internet and they have these opinions and they say this and they say that, because I've even seen, when they body shame, oh, she over there looking, huge or whatever. First of all, my cycle was on. And during that time when we was filming, every time my cycle come on, baby, I gained 20 pounds. My body retains water. I think we can clearly see, Shante, it's not
No, but then I will say this because people don't realize it. Being on camera, it
and the
makes you look
camera,
bigger.
yes.
Yeah.
But I said that to say, if I'm sensitive, I'm over here like, oh no, they talking about me. Oh no, man, I don't care. I don't care. So, and I can't, and then like you can't take that on to where you develop feelings about people that don't really know you. You know, you can't.
Well, I love that, Shante. Now, that's something I do tell myself that you said that, like, if I'm having a day, I always, like, go to sleep and be like, tomorrow's another day because I don't know if somebody out there that's going through worse than what I am and
Mhm.
whatever I'm going through. If we sat in a room full of people and everybody was honest and open and talk about the things that they've been through and how they feel, people will really be surprised. So, that's something I always remind myself. Tomorrow is another day, and you just got to try to do the best that you can. So I'm glad that even though that did happen, you are still doing something positive with your business, and
Mhm.
that's helping a lot of people. Your giving helps a lot of people, that don't normally get it. Like I can say one of my challenges is like I have my mom with me, and she deals
Mhm.
with schizophrenia. It's really hard with healthcare professionals. They just kind of turn them loose and it's on you. And just me now, it being on me and really learning, a lot of those people don't give a damn. They going home. They want to write you a prescription. It's really hard. So I had to learn, more than ever certain things. So, I just really applaud you and I take my head off to you.
Thank
I feel
you.
like Black women are the strength of the universe. Y'all are the strongest people I do know. My grandma raised me. She's a Black woman. I've had Black women help me. Black women are just it. And I'm not taking away, anything from any other women of any other races, but Black women have a strength and a wisdom and know how to make it. They know how to take $5 and make a meal and pay a bill and do what they got to do.
A lot of times we don't have a choice. You
Right.
know, we don't have a choice. Like, those losses that I took, who wants to, you lose your mom, then 4 years later, you have a child that, 4 years later, you lose your child, but 2 years later, you have this child that looks exactly like your mom, which is crazy, and it's just like, you feel like you're getting to a better place in the situation and then boom, gut punch. It's something else that happens. But I think that in those situations, like I tell anybody that asks me, have your moment, feel it. Because the worst thing you can do is harbor it and hold on to it. It's still days that I cry in the shower. I'm not going to lie. I wake up and think about, what would happen next year. My daughter, this year she would have been 10 years old. Next year she'd have been 11. Her and my son would have been, growing up together, So you think about those things and it hurts. And then you think about, because where I was when I first had my first child, I was 17. I was a senior in high school. I got married at 19. I had another child at 22. Went through, in the military, things like that. Had my son at 33. Had my daughter at 36. So, but when I had them in those moments at 17, I'm still a child. My mom helped me out tremendously. When at 22, I got a little bit more, but I'm still a child. But then at 33, okay, I'm kind of established and I'm working through it. And then it's like when I had my daughter, when my last two, now in a financial status where I can do all these things that I want to do. I can take them on trips. I can do all this different stuff. And you see the different dynamic, because with the younger two, you struggle, but you didn't struggle as much. And then it gets easier. So it was just kind of like you feel cheated when that last child is taken from you. And it's like, what can you do about it? But like I said, I got those other three blessings that, I don't care how old they are, they need me. So my oldest, he is a mama's boy. He'll call and check me like he my daddy. We all share locations. And then my younger child is starting to act like that too. My daughter, if I need a kidney, I'm not gonna get it. She gonna give it to her daddy. She's a daddy's girl.
Oh,
But
okay.
and we bump heads, but we bump heads because she is me in my 20s.
Oh, I get it.
Actually, times 5, because I don't think I was that bad. But yeah. But I will say this: when we talked about being in a room with women that we can learn something from. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but on my social media, if anybody's on here, go follow Women's Brunch Mississippi. Teacher had a brunch that we attended. Oh my God, the brunch was so powerful,
It's
and we
past.
all I think last weekend it might have been.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so powerful. And literally it was more like God was in that room, because there were people in there that, like you said, were going through stuff or had been through stuff, but you didn't even know about it because they didn't look like it. But when they started talking about it, you like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it was more like people praying over you. A lady prophesied to me, and the things that she said, she was like, because I was on the fence about this, because this last payment for this business, I was like, why am I paying y'all that much money? And I was like, I can just let this go and just keep doing what I'm doing. But she was like, you need to do it. It's going to work. That was my confirmation. I like being in rooms where I get what I need. And I like being in rooms where I don't care who is having the brunch, who is having the seminar or whatever. What can I get from it? What can I learn from it? How can it make me better? And in that situation, it was just like there were so many women in there. It was kind of like, dang, your story is my story. I made connections and relationships. Another lady, she my mom now. So it's just kind of like, those are the spaces that I want to be in. Those are the things that I want to see. So like, you can see the negativity, you can read the comments, you can watch the show, you can see that. But my only thing that I would say, that's just one side of Shante. And a lot of times, things can come out and it may not even be the way that it was.
Yeah.
But I'm not a person that's going to defend myself to anyone. I'm not going to do that.
I don't think you should, because a lot of times people don't realize when people in comments like we're going on what we see that's edited, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people sometimes they gonna feel how they feel. You could have a damn cure for heart disease. People will say, "Well, she stole it or she copied." It's not gonna change what people think. I just think over time people just see. It just comes out. So I'm really glad that you even took the time, because you didn't even have to do this interview with me. You said
Welcome.
nothing
I'm
was
glad you
off
out.
the
Even though you
book.
were being shady to me at first.
What should I say? I'm shady to everybody. Let me tell you something. When you come on the show and you knew that I got to haze you in, if I'm doing my review, I got to haze you in. But you really I don't know, you just resonated with me.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you for sharing what you shared. You didn't have to share it. Thank you for taking these questions from me. People did send me your stuff. I did look, and I know you're legit. I'm just saying, I know you're legit. I'm always gonna be real. And I think if you continue to be on this show, that's great. If you don't, you're still doing great things. I'm proud of anybody, especially Black women, that can do something. You let me answer the questions. We covered a lot of different topics. So, people gonna take what they take away from it, but you were honest and you were real. You answered some tough questions. So I just thank you for giving me this time, for letting me see that you do have a 2-story house. I think I know where you live at. 'Cause I can tell that is not a Jackson built house. I will say that. I'll tell you off camera. But thank you for just sharing, Shante. I wanted people to see that it's more to you. And then this is the thing. If we all had a camera in front of us, right? Like me and my friends, some of us have cussed each other out. We went through phases without talking to each other. We thrown stuff up in each other's face, but we always do find a way to come together. Some of us do, some of us don't. I have friends where they got other friends I can't stand, and we shade each other down. And that's just what it is. But, life is life. And like you said, the thing about being in your 20s and 30s and 40s, and I can say, me being in my 40s, now I have more sense.
Yeah.
Stuff don't even bother me. So I thank you for sharing yourself, for being open, for being honest, for answering the hard questions. You're gonna have to meet me at Ichiban. I love Ichiban. You're gonna have to meet me at Ichiban. I'm gonna have to buy you your food.
Yeah, buy me my food.
I see you this other room over here. We'll talk about that when I meet you at Ichiban. But thank
But
you.
I will say this. This is the last thing because it's on my heart and it's a lesson that I had to learn.
Okay.
This is, and I say this, but don't let it go over y'all head because I want y'all to really retain this. And it's a lesson that I had to learn that was said to me, and it didn't make sense to me at first. People will support and do it because it's you. People will support and not do it because it's you. And I just want to leave that with everybody, anybody that watches this, because it is a lesson that I had to learn. And a lot of times people will throw stuff out there and it don't make sense. And you be like, what are you talking about? But then you got 10 people over here talking about, yeah, that's, whatever. But then you can have like you said, the bright idea, you can have a cure for cancer. And just because it's you, I ain't doing that.
Right.
So that's why I say, whatever you want to do, whatever you thinking about doing, if you're sitting up here thinking about what people say about you on this internet, please don't take that to heart. And if you feel like you want to say some stuff about me on the internet, do it on my page so I can get some interaction and get some of these coins.
Look, you're gonna have to take it to YouTube and TikTok. I think that's where you're gonna have to take it. That's where the money is.
Come to Shante Hill Facebook.
Yes. Where can they follow you?
We don't do subliminals over here. We do directs. So, at me, 1_Tay Instagram. Let me know how you feel about it. Good or bad. I don't care.
Right. Because I think you can roll with it.
Yeah, I might love it and go on. And I'd be like, you know what? You might be right.
All right. Thank you,
Shante. Baby.
So y'all be sure to tune in for part 2 of Belle Collective, the reunion. You are the cliffhanger. So we're going to see what it's going to give. And my review will be out today. But this is going to be, I'm going to throw this across social media and insert pictures, Shante. Yes.
Make sure I look good now.
Well, you always look good. You always look good. So that's not a problem. So, yeah. So Thank you again, Shante, for sharing. And I'll tell you once we off camera where I think you stay, because I can tell from the build of that house.
Yeah, and I need you to tell me who this Belle is that Damon was dating too.
No, not the
I ain't forgot.
mom.
I
Not
want
the
to know.
mom, the Jew,
Oh, either
Yeah,
one. I still want to know.
yeah, I'll tell you off camera. I ain't telling you
Look,
that on camera.
who's dating who? You done put this tea on me. Give me some tea.
Off camera. I give it to you. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let Shante roll through her day and do CEO business stuff. Thank y'all. This is gonna be uploaded. You can rewatch it because I know y'all gonna rewatch it and run and tell somebody, and that's fine with me, baby. And I stand on everything I said and asked. Thank you. Bye, y'all.